We want to play for you now a rather emotional tape. It's a very frantic phone call from somebody dialing on their phone from inside the World Trade Center shortly after the crash.
Honestly, I just wanted to let you know I love you, and I'm stuck in this building in New York. We hit the building where a bomb went off. We don't know, but there's lots of smoke, and we just wanted you to know that I love you so much.
She says, I don't know, but I think a bomb went off or may have gone off.
I heard a big bang, and the place started to shake. Then I looked through the window. I saw like something like a ticker trade parade, you know, like stuff coming through the window. Then I just started to run.
When I first heard it and I heard them say Pearl Harbor, immediately I had visions of being rounded up and being put into camps. I mean, every time anything happens, I think all of us of our background feel the sense of incredible dread and fear of, oh my gosh, what's going to happen now?
Of New Yorkers, the people in New York very much feel.
It was very much that feeling of I can't believe that this is happening kind of a thing. So the reality factors for me didn't really come into mind until a couple of days later, actually. You know, and so I didn't start thinking about my job until a couple of days later.
So many people are out of work, and it's a lot of us this time. And as you can see, around World Trade itself, there's a lot of people out of work.
Tell us what has been your job in the past 20 years? Where have you been working?
I've been working at the Marriott World Trade Center for 20 years, from 1981 until the day of the bombing. Well, the first 2 weeks was very bad. You can't sleep, you have nightmares, you're a little bit confused, your head like it cluttered, you feel like somebody died in your home. Those are all the feelings. Well, some people feel like if they could, like for people who are close to retirement, if they could give them a package, you know, they would feel much better than just having them out there now and don't know if they will get a job. Because if there's a job and a younger person come on board, they feel that that person would get it over them. So there's the little itch there.
Is there any way of pushing companies to encourage them to give the package?
I don't think so, because like I said, we are unionized, and if anything like that being done, it would be between the union and the company.
They know that they could immediately explain and justify $20 billion of direct costs. And we will be asking our colleagues to support that as a show of support.
Congress was very quick in rushing through $5 billion in cash and $10 billion in loan guarantees for the airlines. They then started saying, well, maybe we should pass something for the workers, something to extend unemployment benefits, something to extend health benefits, retraining, and they started talking about at least $3 billion. Then they said, well, maybe $1.9 billion. And now it's not even clear that they're going to pass anything at all. They're talking about further bailouts for other industries, possibly. The service industry, things related to the travel industry. The workers, once again, seem to have fallen by the wayside. We had word that it was probably going to happen, and then a couple of weeks ago, I got in the mail it wasn't pink, but it was a pink slip that said, "You're laid off December 2nd." So I have a job until then. The airlines are still planning on laying off over 100,000 people. Some of them are beginning to decide maybe they don't need to lay that many off. U.S. Airways has not made that decision. They're still going ahead willy-nilly and laying off as many people as they can get pink slips to. Southwest Airlines, for example, is laying nobody off. So it's obviously doesn't strictly have to do with economics, but there's other things going on here.
One moment it was calm, the next moment anything but calm, as hundreds of people poured out of the doors of LaGuardia Airport
told to evacuate immediately. Our Lauren DeFranco was inside the airport when the mayhem began. Lauren, explain what happened.
Lori, I can tell you firsthand there were some tense and chaotic and frightening moments here at LaGuardia Airport this morning. We should start by telling you that Port Authority police have cleared the situation, but about 200 people, most of them employees, were evacuated, and we can show you exactly what transpired before that point. My photographer and I were standing in the American Airlines terminal when we saw Port Authority police approach two men. They were immediately asked to show some identification, and the men were then taken away to a private area. After this, we began interviewing people to find out exactly what had transpired, and as you can see here, we were suddenly told to evacuate the airport immediately. People began screaming and running out of the airport. They began running outside, down the access ramp. Employees were frightened. They were saying, "I can't believe this is happening. I can't believe this is happening."
They're cutting staffing on the airplanes. The two planes that I commonly work on have 13 and 8 flight attendants, and they're cutting it to 11 and 7. This means a reduction in service. It means a reduction in safety because you don't have as many eyes and ears on the plane paying attention to what's going on. It's cutting costs. I mean, the airlines have fought safety every step of the way. The unions have argued for safety, but that's because the airlines pay for security currently. That's the reason why they're so excited about nationalizing airport security, is because then they wouldn't have to pay for it anymore. That would increase profits for the airline industry, and it would probably make it more secure. And so in general, I would support that, but it's important to realize that one possible reason why we are where we are is because the airlines have resisted improvements in security.
What did you think about the security today?
The security is terrible. It's hard, really hard. Let's ask questions. Every person. Open air and check everything inside.
Well, I think first and foremost, I think the airlines are being affected before anybody else. I think they're the first to lose, and then I believe it's the service industry. I think if you had to go in chronological order, it would be in that order, because mainly before we know why the airlines, and they had major layoffs. They had major layoffs, and they're just being killed. And there's a lot of talk about what should happen in that case, and some of that is going on right now, where the government is being involved in trying to support and help them out financially, which I think is what should happen.
Most people think that this money is being used to preserve people's jobs. I mean, there was incredible furor when American Airlines announced that it wasn't going to be giving severance packages to the people who were laid off, and they were forced by the public outcry they are doing that now. But most people don't understand that these layoffs, that money was supposed to be, well, most people think that money should be used to preserve jobs, and it's not. It's being used to preserve stock prices. Another factor is security. I mean, this is going to affect security. With fewer people working, it's going to affect the security on the plane. Another thing, if people hate their job, if they're being treated like this, they're not going to be happy about their job. They're not going to feel secure. They're going to be nervous. So it's going to affect the level of security. But it's also, there's a greater issue. Most people in this country are working people. Most people have to work for a living. You can't affect part of the economy without affecting the whole thing. When you lay people off an airline, those people go into the job market. The more people in the job market, the lower wages industry can pay, because it drives down wages for everybody. If you kick people out of the airline industry, they're going to be looking for jobs in some other industry. Companies will use that to drive wages down. They like high unemployment. High unemployment allows them to look for the lowest possible, the person who will take the lowest amount of pay to do a job. So it's not just going to affect us. In the short term, yeah, we're the ones that are going to be hammered. Us and then the people in the service industry, like I said. But in the long term, it's going to affect the entire economy. Like whenever there's a layoff, I mean, a downturn in the economy sounds like a natural thing. It sounds like it's raining, the economy is down. It's a conscious decision to do this. Laying people off doesn't happen because the humidity rises and water condenses and it falls. It's a conscious decision made by somebody, a manager, to take people's jobs. Those jobs are seen, rather than being the property of the worker, as being the property of the company. The airline industry is seen as the airplanes and the executives. The airline industry is the people who work here, and every industry is that way. We're the ones who make it.
I'm consider Latin people, right? But I'm saying everybody, all the immigrants come in this country and do the jobs what the other people that don't like to do it. We working, anywhere. We're working in any situation. We try to working in any part with the other people that don't like to work. We contribution with that people because we pay taxes and we never receive nothing. So I think where is that money? Without that money, we don't care. That's what we care is working and just get more benefits for our family, like in this country and the people was here too.
Undocumented workers are doing the hard jobs that nobody wants to do. And also they are doing it with any kind of benefits. They don't have unions, they don't have health insurance, they don't have life insurance, they don't have any kind of protection, no even unemployment insurance.
I'm doing a waiter and a bartender. I was working for like 7 years ago. That was my real job. I was working on the World Trade Center in the second building. I think that's not only for me, but just I was thinking for everybody. That was the lab that just changed a lot because, first of all, we got a full-time jobs and then and you get up there one day or by other day, and you lose everything. So if you got family, if you got kids, if you got support somebody, so you lose everything. So what you have to do, the option is going to be start again. But it's not really that thing to start again. But it's try to find again the job. It's so hard because nobody comes to New York. The business goes down. So a lot of people a lot of people that want to, example, if you got a restaurant or if you got, something, so they're gonna to record to the people. So a lot of people is in unemployment right now. So I think it's not only for me, but a lot of people that was changed a lot of lives.
These workers were working in small delis and restaurants. We have documented about 59 small businesses. And they provided they provided jobs for around 2,800 people, and more than 46% of these people were undocumented. So we are talking about 1,300 people.
And is there any extent of how many Latin American immigrants were killed?
We have documented 64 cases, but these are the cases that were reported to us. And a lot of people, as you might know, they were here without any relatives. They were working were living only with their roommates, and they don't have any immediate relative here. So maybe there are a lot of people who are not reported yet. So we have 64 Latin American people and 28 Mexican.
So what work are you looking for right now? What kind of work are you looking for?
I don't got a special job. I just want to need any job, whatever it is coming. For me, it's better if if example just come today and tell me you want to do this. Of course, I'm gonna do. That's what I need to work, and I'm gonna start to support my family.
Has your employer, the person that you worked for before, has he offered to help you in any way?
Really. So I just want to tell you something. I don't got papers in that country. When that's what happened, so my my boss they gonna start to investigate that people was illegal right there. And so he fine to me. They told me, German, what's up? What's wrong? Why you lie me to me? I think you have a paper. So I'm sorry. You know, I'm not lying to you. I just try to, to work, and that's all we're gonna do. They told me, okay, I'm sorry, that's what happened. I can't hire you again. So just try to find a job in some place. That's what I'm gonna do. Try to find a job in the other part.
We believe that, and we say, we have an slang that we say no human being is illegal. And we believe that a lot of people are exploited in their job places, and when they get sick or they have to access any kind of service, they have a lot of problems. A lot of times, some institutions are very discriminatory, and they ask them for green card when they don't have to. When they go to register their children in their schools, they ask them if they have green cards. And sometimes they don't have the possibility to send their children to the school because even they are not entitled to ask these kind of questions. They intimidate the immigrant community.
Before September 11th, if we had a general amnesty, like they were talking about before September 11th, would that have helped?
That was the greatest what was happened before they want to try to help to the illegal people, But they're gonna help you a lot because it's very important in that country when you got a papers. It's very important when you got a papers and you take your things like unemployment. You take like a working in the United States. You got any benefits for in this country, but we don't have papers. We don't got nothing. We are nothing in this country. That's only what we do, just working and just try to support anyone, any person. It's very hard.
We are asking general amnesty for all undocumented workers. We know that there are more than 8 million undocumented people living in the United States, and they have produced for this economy. And on the other hand, they don't count on any kind of benefits, and a lot of employers take advantage of their immigration status. Therefore, we are asking Congress to give general amnesty for all undocumented workers, so when they become legal residents of this country, they have better chances to for work and also to study.
A lot of press and media came to us after the 9/11 to find out about the community and what was happening in the community and some of the concerns and problems. And I basically said to them, where have you been in the past 8 years that this agency has been in place? Why now you're all coming here to ask about the community? You never seem to care that much about the community other than the very negative coverage that we've been receiving for over many, many years. And actually, quite honestly, even before 9/11, all these issues were already out there: the discrimination, the harassment, the attacks. It started even before 9/11, but after 9/11, it increased 100-fold. Before 9/11, every time there was any kind of incident, as you remember with the Oklahoma City bombing, when they immediately assumed that it was Middle Eastern looking people. I mean, anything that happens, it's always Middle Eastern looking people. So that's been going on for a long time, and basically, again, I think it's because the image out there, it's just one image, it's one negative stereotype that's constantly in front of everybody. There's been a certain amount of brainwashing is what I call it. One of the things that is happening that shouldn't be happening is that there's a lot of fear and there's a lot of anxiety and a tremendous sense of vulnerability, feeling of vulnerability. What I think needs to be done is we need to speak out. We need to let it be known that we are Americans like everybody else and we have the same rights as everybody else. We need to press on with our civil rights. Most of us have come to this country because we want to make better lives for ourselves and for our children. I mean, we've been getting over and over calls about harassment in the workplace, about being losing jobs after 9/11, about not being able to get jobs after 9/11 because of who they are, of really negative atmosphere in the workplace, racial slurs. It's been a very, very difficult time for the Arab and the Muslim community in the workplace. Women who wear headscarves, it's been very difficult for them in the workplace. And we've been hearing about this. People don't report it because they're afraid. They don't want to report. They don't want to get into more trouble. They don't want to lose their jobs, or even more people losing their jobs. So it's been extremely difficult. Of course, others have lost their jobs because they were working in restaurants or in hotels, or had carts in food carts. So they have lost their jobs. So it's had an incredible impact on the community, and we've also, there are families where they don't know where their heads of households are because they've been detained, and they don't know where they are. We've also heard of situations where the FBI has come into the workplace to interview people of Arab background or Muslim, and they've lost their jobs after that, because obviously the employer doesn't particularly want this in the workplace. So we've heard about people being evicted from their homes because FBI have come to their homes also, and the landlords don't want that in the neighborhood or in their building. So there's been an incredible impact on our community. Very, very difficult. It's been a very painful and very difficult time for us because we feel we've been victimized twice. First, as Americans, we've all been victimized by this horrendous act and traumatized. And secondly, because of who we are by ethnicity and religion. But ever since I've been here, even before '93, there was this constant problem of who I was as somebody of Arab background, and there was always a sense of discrimination and not understanding who I am. I'm a Palestinian, so that has been certainly a piece that has played an important part. And it's happened in the workplace. It's happened in terms of employment. It happened everywhere I've been and everything I've done. So it really is something that is constantly on our minds, and every time there's an incident, there's a immediate response of please don't let it be somebody of Arab background.
We can tell you firsthand that police aren't taking any chances this morning. And that is the very latest on the situation. If we can come back to me live here at LaGuardia Airport, most of the flights have been canceled this morning. I think it's safe to say that the situation here, the security is going to be extremely, extremely tight today. That's right, Lori. I mean, I think people are just, their nerves are so shaken. You know, everybody is just reacting because we realize now that we're not safe any longer. And I think that's why people are so frightened. And I think that's what you saw there. People just running out of the airport thinking that a bomb was going to go off or something was going to happen. And it's really frightening to see that we've lost our sense of security.
Are you fearful about flying?
Yes. Oh, it's terrible. It's terrible, this problem like that, because I don't know why.
Aircraft that used to have 4 flight attendants working now have 3. The larger ones that had 13 are going to have 11. The one that had 8 is going to have 7. This reduces the number of eyes and ears on the plane. These are the people who are responsible for safety on the airplane. If there's fewer of us doing that work, then there's going to be less attention that is going to be able to be paid to safety, which is our primary job. That's why the FAA have us there. The FAA doesn't care if you get coffee and peanuts. The FAA cares if there's terrorists on a plane. They're saying, oh, there's a war emergency, and therefore we can ignore certain sections of the contract. Well, it seems like you can only have a war emergency if you can have a war, and you only have a war in this country if Congress declares war. Congress has not declared war. therefore there's no war emergency, but that isn't stopping the companies from running over the contracts left and right.